Daryl Morey's legacy, Tobias Harris' role. We'll talk about that and more next on Locked On 76ers.
You are Locked On 76ers, your daily Philadelphia 76ers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for making Locked On 76er your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Hello, y'all. I'm Keith Pompey. I'm the host of Locked On 76ers. Happy Monday to you. I hope you guys have a great week. Make this the start of a great week. But I want to talk to you guys today about Daryl Morey. Right? I honestly feel like this is a career-defining season for the Sixers president of basketball ops. You know, I also believe that the James Harden saga looms over his head, right? Over his head, over his legacy, the whole nine. And, a lot of people, it's funny because Daryl Morey is the type of guy I feel like in the Philadelphia area that you either love him or you hate him, right? So the ones who love him, they praise him mightily. They do everything he does. They speak of the accomplishments that he's made. The ones who hate him are the opposite, right? So when I was writing this article, I wanted to be extremely fair. And I did an article on Daryl. I did an article on him. It's in the Philadelphia Inquirer about this being a defining moment. And I sat down with Daryl beforehand, and I just wanted to ask him ask him certain questions. I wanted to ask him about, I was real. I said, Daryl, when you came to Philly, when you came to Philadelphia, it was like a parade that happened. Now, there really wasn't a literal parade, but I remember people were going bonkers. Like they finally felt like they had a guy who could get them to the next home. You think about it. They hired Doc Rivers. Then a month later, here comes Daryl Morey. And Daryl is one of the most renowned executives of all sports, right? At least one of the most high profile, making a lot of money, doing a lot of different things, personality, the whole nine. So he comes here and you're thinking about championship, get us out of the second round, do this, do that, the whole nine. And 3 years later, he hasn't. And it's one of those things where it's easy. Seriously, if you're not a fan of his or whatever, it's easy to say, look, man, you've been here 3 years. You guys did not make it out of the second round. You haven't done anything that maybe the previous 5 heads of the basketball ops department couldn't. And the reason why I said the heads of, because before Brian Colangelo came, they were all known as just the general manager, right? So you look at that. But then when you sit back and you think about the mess that the 76ers were in and under his watch, how it changed. Now, some people may say that the moves that were made were basically in place before Daryl got here. Some people can argue and say that. But they made moves nonetheless. And when you're the president of basketball ops, you gotta sign off on things. And the moves that I'm talking about is, and again, this is, people say what they want to say, but the moves I'm talking about is trading for Seth Curry, right? For Josh Richardson to go to Dallas, for acquiring Danny Green and getting rid of Al Horford's contract, right? For drafting Tyrese Maxey, right? Now again, I know some people will say Elton Brand, that was his baby or whatever. But at the same time, Daryl had to sign off and approve that stuff, right? That's just how it goes. So you talk about all those things and you say like, man, they were in a bad spot because before he came, this was a team that basically just got swept in the first round by the Boston Celtics. You had Al Horford, who you was paying all that money to, and was like tied in for. They basically reshuffled the front office. They did a lot of their let people go. Brett Brown was fired. And then all of a sudden, the following year, it was the team had the best record in the Eastern Conference. You know, um, they had the sharpshooters to go with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. And then, of course, after that, we knew like Ben Simmons' situation, how he wanted out. Now you got the James Harden situation. There's some trades that to this day I feel like were mind-boggling, and I get it. Matisse Thybulle, you didn't want to pay the guy. You knew that you weren't going to pay him, so you just wanted to get him off the books. But then you trade him for a guy in Jalen McDaniels, who you say is a great 3-and-D guy, but he can't get any minutes in the playoffs, and then he doesn't come back, and free agent doesn't get re-signed, even though you said that was a guy that you really wanted. So I get all that, right? So, but at the same time, he did elevate them back to where they were. Now, again, people don't care about that because they want you to go up. They want you to climb up to Mount Rushmore. But he did elevate them to where they were. Like they were struggling. He brought them back. The thing is, though, he was brought here to get them at least out of the second round. He has not done that. Now, you can argue that it was Doc Rivers coaching and Doc did this and Doc did that, right? Some people are going to say that. But now, Doc's no longer here to blame. Daryl went out there and hired his coach, Nick Nurse. They have they got this James Harden saga going on, and we've been talking about for days about. And I think this is a defining moment for Daryl. I really do. They're saying publicly that this is a team that can win without James. They think they got a good team. There was moves that were made with Boston and other teams. Milwaukee, Sixers. Kelly Oubre was their best pickup in the offseason. Good guy, but he was their best pickup. So this is a crucial year for Daryl. It is for his legacy and all that. And I just wouldn't be surprised if he was let go with a year left if they struggle. I mean, now the good thing is they do have a plan in place because they have cap space available next year, so they can sign Tyrese Maxey, and they can sign another guy to a lucrative contract. So they have all that. So you got to give them credit for that. But this is it's going to be a tough season or a defining season for Morey. Now he kind of admitted it a little bit, right? He admitted it a little bit, but he's as they say, no season is. So like Morey went on to admit, yes, this is a super critical year because look, you only have so many years with a great roster like this. He said, we're excited about what Coach Nurse can bring. All those things put together a really, really good year. So we'll see, man. We'll really see. So that's it. But I mean, this is going to be a season to pay attention to with Daryl. It's going to be a season to pay attention to with Nick Nurse. the whole team, the whole nine, and we'll just see how it works out, right? We'll see how it works out. But once we get back from this break, this live read on Game Time, we'll talk about Tobias Harris, right? Now the thing about Game Time is there's been times where, let's face it, I'll get tickets for the Sixers game. You know what I do is, and matter of fact, I got to do it. I typically buy my daughter some tickets for her birthday for the Sixers game, and normally it starts. The season starts late, so I'm in the process of doing that now. Before it was like the season would start earlier, so the season was going on. Her birthday was like last week, so she would be at a game. Literally, she would be at a game on her birthday or the next game. If they were away, it would always be the next game. So I kind of dropped the ball this season. But sometimes it was crazy because, I purchased the tickets. You try to look and see the best deal you can get. You want to make sure you got the right thing and everything, the right spot, affordable, the whole nine, right? You just want it to be the best possible. Well, that's why I'm happy that there's Game Time that I could go to now. Why? Because Game Time has last minute tickets, flash deals, and zone deals. It's easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area. View from all seats in the venue. Lowest prices guaranteed. Event cancellation protection. Job loss protection. Right? So what you do is when you go to Game Time, it takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. What you do is you go download the app, create an account, and use the code Locked On NBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. I'm telling y'all, do it today, people. Definitely do it today. Now, I want to talk to y'all about Tobias Harris. And I keep saying this, and Tobias Harris, I get it. Some people, you look at Tobias, you see how much money he's making, you see the production that he's had in the past. I want to say sustained production that he's had in the past. And you say, like, he's overpaid, right? You say that. But the thing is, it's kind of like you can only do what your role is or how many opportunities you get. Now, again, there are certain times when Tobias gets the ball and you like score and he's passing it, right? And you're like, come on, bro. Like, come on, bro. You gotta be more aggressive. So I get that. But for the most part, Tobias has always been, at least here, somebody who was a floor spacer, standing in the corner, like waiting for the ball to come, right? Or and catch and shoot guys, same thing. But he thrives in the pick and roll. When he was in with the Clippers, he was the first option, first or second option. Here, at best, he's what, a third or fourth, option. Well, Nick Nurse looks at Tobias. He sees his body type, sees his skill set. And those are the guys that Nick Nurse tend to have a lot of success with. Pascal Siakam, Boucher, a lot of other guys. So 6'8", 6'9" dudes, athletic wings, like, so to speak. Athletic wings, athletic fours, right? They're like, they play power forward, they can play the three. They're really interchangeable. They can play small ball center, right? So when you talk to Nick Nurse about Tobias, this is something that he told me. I really think he can do a lot of everything, like really well. He can drive it, play in the open floor. He can shoot. He can post, score a bit. He can defend. He can be a switchable guy. So that's a lot of positives. I'm telling you, Nick Nurse is excited about Tobias, right? And the thing is, he wants to get Tobias more involved than he's been in the past. And he'll have great opportunities, especially in this free flowing offense that the Sixers are going to have. I mean, you're going to see Tobias posting up. You're going to see them draw more plays when he gets the ball on a defensive rebound. He's going to have the opportunity to bring the ball up the court to get the team in their sets. I think that this is probably going to be Tobias's best season. I do. I think it's going to be his best season here, and he's excited about it, right? And he knows it. He says, like, every day we're in the lab working on different looks, different reads, different options. And I think this is probably the most excited I've been throughout my whole career of a team and a great situation. Every day that we come in on the court, I'm generally being pushed and coached and excited for the opportunity. So, there's a lot going on. There's going to be some expectations, a lot of excitement. Tobias, this is his 13th year for him to say that. And let's face it, this is a contract year for Tobias. So I expect him to come out there and produce. He did the same thing his last contract year. That's what got him traded to the Sixers, right? He's with the Clippers and stock rose. Clippers traded him. He got paid by the Sixers. I got the 180. So, everything is going to work out for him. And Nick Nurse is saying, I want him to take shots. I want him attacking the baskets. I want him to make sure I get him a couple post ups here and there out of some set pieces, things like that. He's kind of got to make this a nightly thing. He needs to push up towards 20 a game. So, you know what I mean? This guy is it's a big year for Tobias, and we'll see. We'll see exactly what he's going to do and how Nick is going to continue to utilize him and all that. But right now, I want to talk to y'all about FanDuel. Snap into snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers will get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get into the action. This app is easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit fanduel.com/lockedon to kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. So this is literally the calm before the storm, right? This is the Sixers. This is Monday. The Sixers are 3 days away from their first game, which is going to be a tough one in Milwaukee. So we'll see a lot about this team. We'll learn a lot about this team earlier. I don't expect James to be back. I'll start off by saying that. But the one thing I will say is this is going to be, like I said, a memorable season, one way or the other. Can Daryl Morey get the team over the hump? What about his legacy? How would Tobias Harris play? I expect Maxey to take a major step forward. So there's a lot. There's a lot riding on this season for a lot of different people. A lot of different people. But I want to thank y'all for listening, and I want y'all to have a blessed day. Remember, you can get this podcast wherever you get your podcast from. It's free and available. You can also go to the YouTube channel. When you go there, make sure you leave a comment. You like the podcast. You click on the Liberty Bell. When you click on that Liberty Bell, you become a new subscriber, and you also get notifications when podcasts come out. So I want to thank y'all and have a blessed day. Peace.